In episode 76, iPiffle on the Voluntary Human Extinction Movement, or VHEMT for short. One of the most well-known childless organizations is VHEMT, founded in 1991 by Let's Unite. VHEMT is primarily an environmental movement that advocates against reproduction with the intent to cause the voluntary extinction of all humans. The reason why VHEMT supports human extinction is that in their view, humans are the primary cause of environmental degradation. If humans ceased to exist, there would be no more sorrow, and all other species of the world would be much better off without us. The world is filled with too many cases of man-made suffering. The depletion of natural resources and the reckless pollution of the Earth's land, water, and atmosphere is cited as reasons why our planet would be much better off without the existence of man. VHEMT is quoted on their website as saying that we are the only species evolved enough to consciously go extinct for the good of all life, or which needs to. Much of VHEMT's rhetoric has been widely derided as being too pessimistic and extreme. Critics counter VHEMT's stance by offering a more positive outlook. Some journalists and academics have written that humans possess the awareness needed to alleviate the problems caused by overpopulation and will eventually find the will to reduce their numbers to more sustainable levels. Other critics have written that even if VHEMT is on point about the destructive nature of man, the human reproductive drive is so overpowering that it will prevent humankind from ever voluntarily going extinct. Ignoring much of the criticism, VHEMT argues that unless humans make the choice to voluntarily go extinct, the consequences of overpopulation will cause it to happen regardless, and that this loss of life will come about with much greater instances of suffering for mankind. In the meantime, all other living organisms on Earth will continue to suffer because of man's poor stewardship of the Earth. There is just no denying the fact that human existence is incompatible with the biosphere. Voluntary human extinction is promoted by VHEMT for two beneficial reasons. It will prevent further human suffering, and it will also prevent further stress and ultimately extinction on all the other living species which are threatened by man. VHEMT sees childlessness as an altruistic choice and a way to prevent involuntary human suffering. Knight claims additional advantages of not reproducing would mean that children would no longer have to suffer or die needlessly from malnutrition or disease. It would also mean the end of abortion, war, and all the other sins of man. Knight warns that the quality of human life will become even more dire if resources are further depleted due to overpopulation. He suggests that if people desire to be parents, then they should turn to foster care or adoption. VHEMT is totally opposed to population control mandated by governments, civil or otherwise. They advocate only voluntary efforts on the part of everyone not to have children. Rather than being coerced, Knight wants it left up to each person on their own volitions to use birth control and willpower to prevent pregnancies. Knight says he is very much aware that his group's ideology is at odds with society's insistence on reproducing. He maintains that although sexual desire is strong, the human desire to bear children is not pervasive. Rather, it results from cultural norms ingrained into people's minds by society and religious institutions throughout the world. He believes that outside forces put too much pressure to bear on those individuals who support VHEMT's views, causing them to be unwilling to speak out. This fear of being labeled in disparaging terms, such as being called crazies or wackos, keeps them from supporting or even discussing the alarming ramifications of population control. While Knight is unwilling to concede that his group's goals are unlikely to ever gain traction, he believes that any attempts to try and reduce the Earth's population is morally the right thing to do. Thank you for listening. I hope you will join me in my next video.